Alrighty, good evening. What's up, everybody? Might be a little bit of a delay here. Gonna do a few quality checks here to make sure the stream is doing okay, because still haven't been able to connect with my local internet company. So I'm going live here on TikTok as well, and I go live on Discord as well. All right. What's up? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. What's up, y'all? Ooh, it's a little loud. Can you guys, are you guys picking up my audio here on YouTube okay? We'll take a look at it in just a little bit. I don't have any updates on the summit. No, I don't. What's up? Good evening. Good evening. Russia. What about Russia? I'm up and running for the most part. We've got a couple of tweaks, but yeah, everything's pretty much good to go. So I am live on YouTube. Thanks for the gifts. I appreciate that. Oh, shit. All right, guys, 5 more minutes here. Yes, so the markets are closed tomorrow, but my fiance's birthday is tomorrow, so of course I will not be doing a bunch of live stuff. So I figured I might as well give you guys this time now. That way we can at least have an idea of what we're going to be doing on Tuesday, the watch list and stuff like that. So good evening. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I got a decent background here. I'm buying a green wall to put behind me, but Nemo, what's up, dude? Russia make me lose money. We're back on TikTok. What's up? What's on the top monitor? This is a heat map, so it lets me know how each individual sector is doing. It divides them and then shows the percentage gain or negative. So what's good, Coco? What's up, Freddie? Tuesday, yeah, I will be doing, as far as I know, I will be doing live trading. Yeah, for pretty much this week. So on YouTube and on TikTok. So, yes, no, the market is not open. The Potter bear mask is right here. Don't be afraid. But my fiance's birthday is tomorrow, so I'm gonna give her time tomorrow to enjoy her day, and of course wanted to go ahead and give you guys this time to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at, and some things that I've got brewing. So you think the market's going to be red all week because of war news? Well, we're going to be talking about that specifically here in just a second. So what do you mean short the US economy? I'm just shorting SPY. I am short overall. And I could talk a lot more about that, but that's a whole podcast. But I have not and probably will not be buying any long-term equity, at least for the remainder of the summer, probably, depending on how long and what happens geopolitically, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. And as per usual, we're going to get started with the news. Take a look at what we got going on with our economic calendar, our earnings, our watch list. And I'm gonna show you guys my setup here on SPY. I don't know if anybody caught my idea earlier, but I did post a chart in the Discord in the PotterStocks part, so make sure you guys go check that out. I even tweeted it as well, so if you guys want to go check out my Twitter, I posted kind of like a full breakdown. That's right here for those of you guys didn't see. It's got the bear guy in the background. I love that I can do that now, but we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So alrighty, so right off the rip, of course, looking at all major indexes, last week we were all down over 1%, but under 2%, if you want to call that a silver lining. And of course, that was a lot of the catalyst here was the geopolitical tensions coming from Russia and the conflict going on, or tensions, if you want to call it that, brewing between Russia and Ukraine. And of course, that's affecting sentiment and causing a lot of indecision. But I did talk a lot about and have been seeing a lot of other creators and stocks, just stock people in general on YouTube, discussing, how this could be long and drawn out, because as per usual, tensions between Russia and Ukraine have been going on for quite some time. But there are a couple of positive headlines, and we're going to go over those really quick. So the U.S. is now officially energy dependent. The U.S. petroleum production exceeded consumption in 2020. That was the balance. That balance was mostly maintained through 2021, according to the Energy Information Administration. The country can thank cheap shale gas and an uptake in oil production in the states such as the Gulf. So that's one positive thing going on there. President Biden is reportedly unwilling to pin rising inflation on corporations. However, one member of his cabinet is absolutely willing to. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack condemned business taking advantage of the coronavirus pandemic and supply chain disruptions to push up food costs. Go Tom. The U.S. observed inflation measure, the consumer CPI was up 7.5 year over year. Puts all day on Tuesday. Yes. Futures are popping. I haven't seen futures, and they're likely to jump up and down. Also, Queen Elizabeth has COVID. Looking at our economic calendar, this is briefing.com. It's a great place to see the upcoming data, so that way you can get ahead of the game and have an idea of how this may or may not affect sentiment. People ask me all the time, how do you figure out the sentiment? How do you feel it out? I look forward and look at the events, and then oftentimes we'll look back and look at how it's affected the market previously, or just obviously with time. You'll notice, and of course, listening to other more experienced traders, they will tell you that a lot of the times, you can wane into certain events or rise into certain events and then flush, but as far as the economic calendar is concerned, February 22nd, which is Tuesday, we have the higher impact data is consumer confidence. February 23rd, MBA mortgage applications. February 24th, we've got initial claims, continuing claims, new home sales, EAI crude oil inventories, and all of those are high impact data points. And then Friday, February 25th, we have personal income, personal spending, PCI prices core, durable orders, and that's pretty much it as far as high impact data. So you do have some pretty high impact data points coming throughout the week. some earnings to look forward to, and of course we've already discussed these as of last week. We have Space, Home Depot, Teladoc, Macy's, and Palo Alto Networks on Tuesday. We did already swing into Macy's, so we have a Macy's position. We'll see how it goes. Me and Macy's have been arm wrestling for about a month now. It's winning. Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. We've got Clove, Chesapeake Energy, Fubo, Skills, and BioCryst Pharmaceuticals Thursday. And I'm excited for Thursday because we've got BABA, which we already have a position on. If you are curious of the positions that we do have, I guess I should probably tell you guys those. So we have a $30 call on Macy's and a $22.50 call for this week, or this upcoming week, February 25th. And then BABA. So we actually have a one. Now I am short Chinese stocks, and anybody who's been trading with us or knows anything about me knows that I've been short BABA, Baidu, all Neo. It doesn't matter what it is. Overall, long term, I believe these companies are going to fall, whether it just be via tensions, trade tensions. There's a lot that I could talk about. It's a whole podcast as well. But we do have the March 18th. So that was one of the, I guess you could say, longer, leaps. March 18th, $80 put on BABA. And if you go look at BABA here and step out, you'll see that main supply demand, we've got $84 or $85, as well as a unfinished gap. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that gap get filled. And you can see BABA is in a strong decline and carrying what looks to be a pretty gnarly bear flag. We as well, we also have the 140 call and the $95 put for earnings going into this week. So greetings from Marietta, Georgia. What's going on? I'm on the coast. What is on the top monitor? This is a heat map. Neuralink needs to come out. That's probably not a great idea. All the monkeys that had Neuralink have died. Where have I been? I moving, etc. I am live on YouTube though. I did see fuzzies. I did see futures bounce. Let's go see where they're at right now. Damn, I thought that gap looked kind of suspicious. They sure did rip, didn't they? Look at that thing. Still in a downtrend. Sorry, now you guys got me curious. Let it go retest 440.10. 44.10. See where it goes. All right, let me not get into futures now. That's crazy though. That's a nice big bounce. Anytime I see a gap like that and I see weakness, those are extremely weak candles. Those you can pretty much bank on a reversal from there. So market is closed tomorrow, but I'm just giving you guys this time. There's people on TikTok commenting, but I am giving you guys this time. It's my fiance's birthday tomorrow, so I'm gonna be hanging out with her, taking the day, and so I just wanted to chart it up with you guys, etc. So alrighty, we've got earnings, economic calendar. Okay, so Baba's covered. So as far as SPY, let's see here, where's my... All right, so I'm gonna show you guys the picture that I posted for those of you guys who didn't see it. So this is SPY on the weekly, and we're gonna step out to the monthly, and I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like as well. But what we have here is a potential head and shoulders. Now, what happens between this area right here, the 440 area, the 442 area, is kind of irrelevant to me. One thing that I found, a couple of key things that I found with SPY is that the whole ribbon indicator for the first time since COVID has flipped red, excuse me. Now, I know a lot of you guys are unfamiliar with this indicator, but this is the only, and I know a lot of people on TikTok and other places have the buy sell indicators, and so on and so forth. I don't use those. I've been using this whole ribbon indicator since forever. And it's the only thing that I would actually dollar or DCA automatically, where I would just have an indicator basically cover my ass. And so this is flipped red, and for me that's pretty significant. You've got the MACD right here, which I'm not always using, but for long-term trends I find the MACD to be really useful. And you can see that that's going over for a sell signal for the first time since COVID. Previously you've had kind of weaker displays, but this time you actually are and have lost quite a bit of volume and momentum on SPY. So I'm looking at SPY to potentially lose the 4, and I'm gonna go back over here. So obviously you guys could see this neckline, the 425 and the 420. So 420 is the trigger point for me, basically a significant push. And so whatever happens, as long as we stay, and there are gaps to fill, and I do have a small pattern that I'm going to show you guys here in a second, that could end up, you know, still maintaining the shoulder, but have us chopping around through the data going into this week. But I do think below 420 that we could, and it's going to be a catalyst. It's not just going to be a technical number. Oh no, spot everybody sells at 420. It's going to be more or less something has to happen in order for that to move and to break to the downside. And as far as that lower time frame pattern, it looks like it's just going to curl up in this triangle. So if anything, I would be potentially looking for SPY to actually retest the 445 levels somewhere in here. And then from there, we would be looking, and it could wick out, but we are going to be looking for a rejection and a break to the downside. Do you think it's smart to hold shares through all the war? I mean, for me, all of the shares that I hold are speculative, and I have like I'm DCing maybe every 3 months, because in 10 years you can talk to me. If these prices are fluctuating between $10 to $20, that's irrelevant to me if I'm looking out 20 or 30 years or you know, so on and so forth. So some of those stocks, yes, I'm holding. Other stocks like Microsoft's, Apple's, all of those stocks that have flown since the COVID dump, yes, I'm not buying, and I am not holding. You know, what you do with your portfolio has everything to do with when you bought, how much you got, your risk management, etc., etc. So one last thing I'm going to show you guys. So this is the monthly projection on SPY, and just one more thing to note here is that the monthly MACD indicator is going for its first crossover, and mind you, COVID didn't even trigger a crossover like we're seeing right now. So all of my all of my gut feelings are bearish. I'll play it either way, and as you guys know, you know, I do have that bearish bias due to the, I mean, there's a lot of factors as far as why I'm bearish. Number one, you know, you've got all of our, you know, politicians saying that yeah, it's fine, absolutely, we should ban trading. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, after getting to take profit after COVID on a absolutely historical run, brought to you by the Federal Reserve, whom the same officials got to buy the dip and then basically inflate their own shares and make themselves a ton of money. So for me, that and reverse repos, you know, seeing where that money isn't going, I just feel like, you know, overall SPY is not looking good for the next year. And if you add war to it, that's and please, mind you, this is totally my opinion, and I am willing to change my opinion if things change. Otherwise, and that's how I go about trading, period. If I see something change, then I'm going to pivot. And that's, you know, the beauty of trading is the market, the market doesn't care what I am. I just have to be right. So, um, anyway, uh, my overall target, if shit hits the fan, you know, and I have kind of a 100-point drop on SPY, but I'm looking at the volume, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on this. If you guys look at this volume or volume profile, those of you guys on TikTok, if you can't see my screen, it's on YouTube, so you can go and monitor and see what I'm saying, or go look at my tweet. But between the level, it looks like right around the 430s down to the 340s is really, really low volume on this volume profile, opposed to obviously the higher volume. And there's a little bit more consolidation here. But I would expect that if things don't go well, that we would find ourselves in the 350 area. I think short term, I think that it's not outside of the question to see SPY near and around $400. So, but you know, that's the, yeah, just, you know, be cautious, etc., etc. So anyway, after that cheery breakdown on SPY, I'm going to go ahead and go over my watch list. So obviously Macy's on the watch list fits the criteria for something that I'm looking at going into earnings, right? Earnings here, monumental dump. Now we've chopped, stayed in range above this 200-day moving average. We've got gaps to the downside, targets at 23.20, major zone down around $20 even, and then to the upside, I've got targets at around $30. And it has the setup to cup and handle, so it could cruise to the upside. But this one has earnings and will be on the watch list. What am I talking about? Watch list this week. Baba. So like I said, it's got a sweet bear flag. I love it. Look at that. I'm excited. Bulls thinks the market's going to 490 next month. Yeah, you guys know when AMC people start getting really excited, and I would tell you what, my opinion on that is strong. I think that they need to chill out. If you're invested in AMC, stop advertising it to people. And if you do this, then I'm talking to you. Stop doing that to people who are new, because that is not the way to get into investing. In fact, most people who have struggled with investing came out of the rubble of AMC. So I would just beware, you know, on that kind of stuff. So it's worth a gamble. It's always worth speculative trading if you have the money to burn, but it's not a gateway. I guess it's a gateway drug, but not a gateway. TikTok, don't ban me. I'm not doing anything. What is my Discord? My Discord's the link's in my bio. Anyway, Baba has a bear flag. Baba finished around 1750. They have earnings this week. If you go and step out to the weekly, that's where things for me get really, really interesting. You could even just do this on the daily. But Baba has gaps down around $100, and it's a tiny little gap. And then we've got a point of control at $84. And that's why I took that play. Now, at this point of control around 84.25, there is the remainder of an unfilled gap. And that is ultimately my short-term or my long-term short target. Now, I want to also throw one other thing out there. I took a hedge on Baba for a good reason, because of the massive gap to the upside and the correlation between the 200-day moving average and the gap fill, which is at 160, 165. So I've got Baba on the watch list for earnings play. And then last one is mRNA. Now, I am short vaccine stocks. Yeah, I have YouTube right here, and then don't buy anybody's courses. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff now that I'm getting settled. I've got a lot of really exciting stuff I'm super pumped up about. In our Discord, we have a lot of course material for free. So mRNA, I have a earnings play on that one. I already went over. That one is the the March 18th $100 put. Vaccines. Take a look at this. Coronavirus statistics, daily cases so far going back to 9/29/21. You can see the huge influx, and then now we are kind of sitting at a lull. You look at the vaccinations, pretty steady across the board, kind of tapering. You did see a big burst going into February, which is, I guess, from the government perspective and from vaccination perspective is a good thing, but a bad thing if you're looking to sell more vaccines. The death rate, though, is still kind of questionable. If you zoom out, it's not as crazy, but it is still relatively high. But all in all, cases are down, and in my opinion, mRNA, when you guys took that short with me last time, that was because you guys saw that the CEO, I believe, deleted his Twitter, or I think that was him, and sold his shares. But regardless of that, which is negative sentiment period, vaccine stocks were heavily inflated during COVID. And it's about time that they returned to their valuations. And when you look at the weekly chart on mRNA, it is crazy, because in October of 2020, right, this stock was trading at $66 and went to a high of $494. That is insane, and is now still sitting in the $100 to $144 mark. So I think mRNA is due and deserves another leg down, and ultimately my target is in the 80s long term. This thing has taken a beating, but it's definitely not a long-term stock for me by any means. So gap trades. Apple. Apple has a sweet little gap and a sweet setup. So do you guys notice the correlation between SPY and Apple? This right here is a perfect example. It's got that same triangle it's going to snuggle up in. Now I've got this projection leading out, and you can see this is when I'm looking for those confluences, right? Point of control lining up with a resistance point and obviously a key level. This level is the 173.50, 173.35, and there is a small gap. So this is kind of how I start to eyeball targets. So people, I get this question a lot, how do you set your entries, your exits, and your stop loss? Obviously, your risk is really important, but the main thing that I'm looking for is a target, like a actual target. And for me, gaps provide that target. And so right here, you'll notice that Apple has a gap, and this gap is probably going to get filled. And so if tensions die down in Ukraine, then perhaps we see a big bounce, or we see a relief bounce, which ultimately would lead us up to the 172.50 for a gap fill. So I think that Apple is good, and you can see that there was a nice big bounce there on Friday, and so I am looking for continuation on this one to the upside. Now, if it doesn't hold and we end up falling further to the downside, I'd be watching Apple around the 162 levels. So Neo, last one. It's a short week, so I've got a short gap watch list. I'll keep my eyes peeled on more gaps going into Tuesday. But Neo has interesting targets both to the up and the downside. I know you guys are thinking, not again, don't do it, but I'm gonna do it. So Neo has and we're gonna go down to the hourly really quickly. Neo has a gap to the upside at 27.21. This gap starts at a really obvious key level that's going to be $26.15, $26. And this is what appears to be kind of just like Apple, just snuggled in this triangle. So we're going to look for a long above 20, excuse me, I think that's, yeah, 23, 85, 88. I'd be looking for, with obviously decent volume and market cooperation, we'd like to see NEO up to around 25.18. Why 25.18? Take a look at that. Bam, 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 breakdown, breakout. So I'm looking at that as a target. And then I think that in the span of, and I think there is a date range right here. So I think right here, so about 2 days, at a minimum, we should see NEO up and around this level and or breaking up towards the 2617. On the flip side, if we see a rejection, then obviously I would be targeting this gap to the downside. That's 21.64, and this is going to be $20.87 to the downside. So thank you for the rose. This is a heat map. Make sure to leave a like if you guys are on the TikTok or the YouTube. I do appreciate it. Yeah, so SPY, I have a gap. I think, yeah, so there's a small gap, if you see right there, Nick, that I targeted right here. So okay, so yes, Biden just agreeing to meet Putin definitely is going to cause futures to bounce 100%. 100%. So alrighty, y'all, that's it from me. If you guys have any ticker requests, go ahead and throw those in the if you're in the Discord. I'm just gonna kind of fluctuate back and forth, but oh my god, the goofy meme. By the way, how is the quality on YouTube, the stream? Is it okay? DWAC. Oh, it drops. Like it's gonna be open for things. Well, if you guys have any Carlos, I actually have a Chegg position already. And this one has a major gap to the upside. It did push up into the $32 level, but so far has been kind of just slowly bleeding. So I would want to see, for me, I've got a point right here at 27.80, and I'm gonna go ahead and say 27 even. If it breaks below that, it might end up being finding a new low. So Tesla. Wow, looks like shit. So perfect gap fill, obviously, last week. And man, what great movement did we had some crazy moves to the upside. So this one looked like 15-minute bull flag into the day Friday. So I think at a minimum, you're obviously going to, so futures can hold what they got right now, likely going to see a gap up to around 880. Now from there, if you leave, that's going to be more, I think that's going to be more than a 2% gap. That's got to push Tesla. So if we go with the gap rules, more than 2%, then we could expect a gap and go. And I would expect to see Tesla into the 900s or to retest the 900s. there is even the possibility to go and fill this tiny little gap at 922. And so I would be keeping my eyes out to watch Tesla for bounce with the rest of the market. There is a main resistance right here. So if you're looking at a dynamic resistance, it's going to be right about there. And so here's kind of what I'm thinking. Hold on. So just kind of up here, test this resistance. If we're going to go up, we're going to pull back a little bit, and then I imagine we'll probably move into this 935 level. Downside, obviously rejection around these levels, and that would obviously set us up to move back down into the 850s. So SPY forecast put on SPY. So thanks, Biker. I'll definitely pass that message, man. So that's it. That's the lower time frame. On the higher time frame, Tesla looks terrible. Looks absolutely atrocious. Now, if there's ever a time, you know, and obviously if this war stuff passes, guys, my sentiment, you know, being bearish changes a little bit. But I would be looking for a move to the upside off of a 200-day moving average like this. So if Tesla, and you can see this 200-day EMA on the daily sitting and kind of cradling Tesla at the moment. So a break above 935, 950 would signify a move to the upside, where I'm not going to go and start drawing goofy lines, because this to me is straight up goofy. To even consider like a move like that, it just doesn't seem possible. That's where you're just kind of looking, there's nothing to confirm that move. It's just drawing one line from another candle. There's nothing really symmetrical about it at all. So I'm looking at just this pennant type setup here. And if you're looking at it, it's coming from a downtrend, so it looks more bearish than bullish. But yes, I know the market is closed tomorrow, but I'm going to be celebrating my fiance's birthday. So do I keep saying tomorrow? I probably keep saying tomorrow. Well, I went over Apple. Apple has a gap to the upside. I've got a target 172.66 on Apple. And then I'm looking for a rejection. Yeah, if you guys are digging the stream here on TikTok or have a request, make sure to leave a like. I do appreciate it. Same thing with YouTube. But yeah, that's that. I think Apple's gonna bounce here, but I think overall we're bearish. How does your chat move so slow, but you can't answer one question? Jovial Valley, because I'm looking at 3 different chats: Discord, YouTube, and TikTok. So just kind of jumping around. My God. So this one is a sentiment thing for me. Yeah, there's a gap down there too. I personally I'm short TSM. The semiconductor ETF in general is rough, but I think that the actual like hidden the elephant in the room that not a lot of people are talking about is the China-Taiwan issue, which I know people are like, it always happens, it's always like that, they're always doing this. I get it, but technically this is a bearish setup, which doesn't mean that we can't see TSM back into the 120s for a retest to complete this pattern. But overall, it would appear to me that TSM And I can go to this hourly here. Okay, hold on one second. There, so more of a pennant. So I can see TSM making a move like this, right? Back up to this point of control. So I would say 124 by February 24th, somewhere in that range. There's a small gap to fill to the upside. We could play that gap. So we could play above 120.75 on TSM. You could play the 123.50, whatever contracts. I'm not looking at the contracts at the moment, but there's a gap to fill. I would imagine a test of resistance there, and then a continuation or possible continuation to the downside off of a descending triangle. So you have no idea how much I miss you. Thanks, man. At the gym on the treadmill watching this? No way. Do I think the market? I do think the market. If you guys are on TikTok, I can show you guys that I did post a YouTube or a TikTok on my new setup, so you guys can go see my new setup. I think is pretty cool. I was pretty happy with it. All right. Raytheon. You know what though? I'm not making any bets like that. I can't make a bet on war. You can make speculative plays on war, but I'm not taking any major bets on war quite yet. So if the market opens green, I would be more short, just like I have been previously. So all right, I'm trying to kind of speed through the not speed through these, but oh my god, Rivian. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is a beautiful setup. Sorry. Wow. Oh my gosh. So that looks like a pretty perfect bear flag, if you ask me. Take a look at that on the 4-hour. This thing looks like it's destined for nothing, except for more downside. Oh my god, I'm so short on this. I'm writing this on the watch list. This doesn't even, I don't even see a gap on this, and I just might short this anyway. Rivian doesn't, do they have cars? Hold on, does Rivian have cars? Can I buy a car right now? Hold on, I just want to know. Build it. Okay, so you can buy that. Those are pretty cool though. Those are cool trucks. Are they in like full scale production? I don't know. I need to know more about them, but I personally don't think that they need to be priced around $66. I don't care who they are. If they're anything like Lucid or anything like that, they should be, yeah, they should be down further. So anyway, that's a bear flag. That looks like you're going to see a possible retest of $71. I don't see any upside targets. Catch it short below 62 and $60 possibly for a return to the $50 level. And I'm going to set an ass of alerts here. Excuse my language. Where's my post-it notes? Lucid short. I'm gonna take a leap on that. I'm just gonna take like a $40 leap and a $50 leap. $50 and $40 leap. Yes, the market is closed tomorrow. I know this. Alrighty. So Rivian's short for me. If it breaks above $72, I'll change that. But otherwise, until then, short. Short. Was that a chartgasm? maybe chart. Maybe I don't want to talk about it. Alrighty. Yeah, I see they have the cars, but I don't know if that's a $66 company. No, Rivian and Lucid. Short on both. Short them both. Goodbye. Alrighty. I don't know. You guys tell me if you think that's gonna go up. I mean, you just step out on Bitcoin. I'm sorry to any crypto enthusiast here, but if we get down to the 30K levels, which I am very certain that we will, yeah, I don't see how Mara could move inversely to that. And if you look at it, it's the same setup. I personally, just on technicals, see crypto short. This is a bit of a bearish flag, breaking to the downside below 22.60. I would imagine you're going to see a return to the $19 and $20 level. And then from there, you actually do have a little tiny gap, but that's way down in like the $6 level. But I would imagine, damn, not to sound super bearish, but you could go all the way to the $15 level on Mara. So, I gave you like, brother, love your prep streams. Oh, thanks, Carlos. I appreciate you. All right, so DE, this one is a beast, but looking at it, it looks like it's about to do this thing again, where it just sits in range forever. They've been doing really well on earnings. They've been doing well, period. And I'm going to set a couple of key levels here. So if you're on TikTok watching, you need to probably go, and you could actually use pivot points here. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Okay, so check this out. This is the daily here on DE. If you zoom out just a little bit, I think it was right about there. So notice that the point of control 200-day EMA, I'm going to give you a 357 to 350 target to the downside. There is the possibility to bounce off of this pivot point. The pivot point is worth paying attention to, period, end of story. It is normally always a place that you will bounce on any given time frame. This does have the setup for a head and shoulders, which would ultimately lead you to the downside. If the market overall fails and supply chain issues hit again due to war, of course, take it short, but or I would anyway. But otherwise, DE remains to be a strong company. Earnings are on fleek, and they are probably going to continue to trade in this range like they do all the time. If you guys go back here from January of 2018 all the way to February of 2020, they traded in between 131 and 175. So long and excruciating before breaking out into a historical run. Market is closed tomorrow. Yes, I'm well aware. So am I. Marla, whenever I do streams that are just for Discord, I will stream on my YouTube to the YouTube members. So it's not a necessary thing, but all right, so PLTR guys, this is a short unfortunately, oh my God, yeah, that just popped. This is a hedge fund's like target. Unfortunately, for what seems to be forever, they won't leave this thing alone. The Son of Berry Valley. Personally, I think that it may go back down to IPOs, maybe back into the $9 level. I'm going to tell you what, I still have shares of PLTR, and I will continue to hold my shares of PLTR. I bought shares at $19. As soon as I bought them, I was well aware that these things could go and dump all the way to 9. And I'm going to buy a little tiny bit more. And when I DCA on a downtrend, I'm not I'm not going heavy. You're going against the grain. When you're on a DCA, dollar cost average, you especially if your stock is declining, obviously you want to decrease, and well, that's what I do, is I decrease my equity influx, if you will, and kind of pump the brakes on going heavy. Now, when I start to see accumulation areas, not like this, because this is a perfect example of a bear flag, but when I see accumulation areas and areas of support, then that's where I'm going to target certain stocks. So I think that this is more fundamental and less technical, but you could unfortunately see yourself down into the $9 level. So please don't ask about AMC in game. I'm going to just tell you this right now. I called AMC the other day, and those calls ended up ripping. I didn't even get to trade them. They went all the way, I think, in the money. Someone said they TP'd my signal for 200%, which is great. I'm gonna give you. So here's the story. All right. Hedge funds got you buying AMC. They get retail all amped up. All retail sees this one pattern, which I've consistently seen everybody posting the same pattern on AMC. But you get people to set up, they buy, and as soon as things start going up, which is, you could call them liquidity pumps, you're essentially getting this thing to shoot up, and a lot of the times the move is going to be extraordinary. It's going big green candles, lots of volume. That's a sure sign that market makers are present, because you know damn sure that the apes are not pushing the stock up to that extent, unless, and this is the thing, I think that one of the tactics that hedge funds used is not even used, but exploited people going after shorts and short squeezes, because all of a sudden there was 2 targets. Now there's 90 targets. Now everything is going to get short squeezed. Now everything we got to, and so it almost, it fizzled. It actually caused people to leave faster, and I think a lot of shares were sold. And so when you get a stock that has a setup like this, where I think it could go into the $26, $27 level and hit this 200 EMA, I think it will drop right back down. I'm not a non-supporter or a supporter of the AMC army. I think that they do more I think the group itself, the GameStop people, I understand their cause wholeheartedly, and I agree with them. But I don't think that for new investors, they need to ever be advertising this or say, and I'm not saying that all people do this, but a lot of people advertise this as the best investment of our time. And, strike me with a lightning bolt right now if I'm wrong, and it ends up squeezing, all the way to 400 again. But in my opinion, and this is probably where I'll leave this for good, I think that if anything, you may go test resistance, but it's going to do what it's supposed to, and you're going to get rejections, and those are going to be opportunities for hedge funds to step in really, really heavy, cause panic, cause you to sell your shares, and then the game begins again. So MRO, I'll do that one next. Thank you guys for all the likes. here on TikTok and on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. All right, so Shopify is, whew, man, look at that. This is crazy. You know what really blows my mind is that some stocks have had SPY had SPY moved in the same manner that some of these stocks have been, it would be called a crash. But it seems like things are crashing in sections and going back down to their original valuations. Shop, PayPal, Square, all Chinese stocks, all small caps, and small caps were the first to die. But now you're seeing things like Shop and major reversals, major trend setting reversals. So looking at Shop, I think you got to bounce. You've made a decent move to the downside. There's definitely more blood. You did leave a gap to the upside that always leads me to believe that there's a potential to go fill that gap to the upside. So for Shopify, you're at what I would consider demand. You have one level below you. If you do continue to drop, that's 591.67, 590. Obviously, I always round my numbers anyway. From there, I'd be looking for a bounce. I think you're liable above 690 and 700 to go and fill the gap into the 840s, if that's even a possibility. Because personally, I'm not a fundamental analyst on Shopify. I don't know anything about them. I don't trade them. Their spreads are nuts. Very rarely. I have traded Shopify for like 900, but I can't even remember what the percentage was on a Friday, because the premiums were cheap and it made a huge move. But other than that, you would have to be a little bit, use your fundamental aware, whatever you know about Shopify's fundamentals in order to make an assessment on whether or not they can bounce and reverse, and whether or not, because they just had earnings. And again, I don't know what earnings brought, but SPY bounces, Shop likely bounces, and I would be looking for those gaps to possibly get filled. It does actually appear, yeah, so you actually have that's a micro gap, but I wouldn't even consider that one. mRNA, I already have a earnings setup, so if you guys have any questions, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm going to go over the earnings plays that I have right now. Currently, I am holding a $80 put on BABA. I have a 140 call on BABA. I have an $80 put March 18th for BABA, 140 call February 25th, $95 put February 25th. I actually have a MaxR $40 call and a $20 put for March 18th. I have Macy's $30 calls and $22.50 puts. Those are too late because the earnings is before the bell. I have a $100 mRNA put. I am short on mRNA and all vaccine stocks, and that's about it. They had good earnings but took a shit. How was their guidance? But vaccine stocks. If you want me to just go to the YouTube, it's all recorded there. Holy shit. That's a Head and Shoulders. That's a wedge. At least that's support. Uber 32.88. And then Uber 32 even. $28 would be my short target on Uber. Yeah, that's going short. I'm gonna write that down. Good one, Johnny. I like that a lot. Uber, and I'm telling you guys what I'm writing down. Uber Head and Shoulders. And I just write a quick reminder. 34, 32 break. I do not have any calls other than earnings. I'm happy to go long on the market, but not now. All right, Marathon Oil. I saw that Berkshire yield Buffett, that man put a huge stake in Exxon. See how that works out. I don't think he's going to collect that investment. All right, so this hourly sets up like a bull flag, right? Kind of almost a pennant at the same time. So neat setup right there. You've got a gap to the downside. That gap starts at $21.22 and closes at $21.10. And then you got another gap down to $20.62. Excuse me. Overall, I would say, and this is a confluence, guys. I've spotted, here's a good example of a confluence right here. 50 EMA, point of control, and support dynamic, right? I'm sure that if I go back, absolutely, that's definitely, look at the line all the way across. That holds. That's a confluence. Things are running into each other, giving me confirmation. So oil, I would imagine you're going to see 2150. You lose 2150, and you might see yourself back down into the 20s. So yes, the market is closed, and very good point. It is called homework. It's Sunday. I could do all of my setup on Sunday and then enjoy my Monday, right, where I usually would be working. And then if, you know, obviously it's my fiance's birthday, so I'm going to be celebrating. And then just, you know, Tuesday night or Monday night, brush up on all my levels, take a look at futures, and just wake up early. And I personally, I think the most work and the best work is done in the morning. I think that if anybody tells you otherwise, they're absolutely full of it. Because I've seen some people say that, and I disagree wholeheartedly. You can set levels the previous night all day, but futures open is going to tell you our futures and the way that SPY opens and major ETFs are open is going to tell you everything about the next day. So yeah. So you get your key levels, you get your overall setup, you get your contracts, and then you reassess in the morning. That's what I do anyway. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and do about one more, and I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. One or two more here. It's about 9:30. I do have to be up early tomorrow. We've got a lot of running around to do. I'm also have to buy a car this week, which I don't want to do because cars are expensive, more expensive than usual. What's up, Upstart? Ooh, thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah. Give me that gap. 115. Oh yes. Okay. Wow. I gotta stop. I gotta stop making charts sound suspect. Nobody talks that way about charts, bro. All right. You know, it's funny is I didn't make last month. I didn't actually trade my main account very much at all. So I didn't make a lot at all. So watch Upstart to retest 137. I'm gonna set an alert there, and then watch for a rejection and a pulled back. I would say 123. I like Upstart to at a minimum 120. Break below 120, and I like one. I'm gonna say 115. So 115 on Upstart, and I would make sure to go out a little bit long on that one. Lithium is highly abundant. Yeah, they do have a ass of lithium out there. New setup, who dis? I can show you guys a new setup. The action shot. And the bear. Trayton. No, I moved my house, not my office. I mean, I guess I did move my office, but heat sector is on TradingView. Should I buy some UVXY? If you're trying to hedge yourself, sure. That's what I do when I'm trying to hedge myself. So PayPal is tricky because, man, I didn't expect it to fall this hard. I personally thought it would kind of stop bleeding around here, but I'm kind of thinking that we might see PayPal down to around $93. I think people are going to try and buy the dip heavy at at 100 even, and maybe even like 99. I think that's going to cause a big jump, but I think ultimately, even if we consolidate there for weeks, I think ultimately PayPal will go and hit that main level, and then from there, more than likely we'll see some sort of recovery. There's a lot of open gaps up here. So we could see a long, drawn-out recovery for PayPal. So, NVIDIA, I have the same. This one is an unusual chart. So this is a perfect extension of what looks to be. I'm gonna pull this down. A nice channel on NVIDIA to the downside. So it is in a downtrend. At the 200-day EMA, I'm thinking maybe we get a little bit of a bounce, retest 245, maybe even possibly the 250s. On the 250 retest, if we break back down, and I have a dynamic support here to keep an eye on, look at that one right there. If you break below that, and look what I'm so if you take anything from tonight, I would just tell you guys that it is a short week, and we have a little bit of room to consolidate. So if you look at look at all across the market, all of the analysis that I did tonight on all these different tickers, and look at how many of them have these pennants, triangles, whatever you want to call them. Those are consolidation patterns. Those are hard patterns to trade inside, and it's better to wait for the breaks. So this week, I wouldn't be coming into this week with all guns blazing unless we have a catalyst. So, alrighty, y'all. Trayton Patterson, that's a good way to start. I would highly recommend going and checking out the Discord, the free part, of course, for all of the educational content that we have. So, is there anything in an uptrend right now? That's a good question, dude. I think so. Nah, not that I know of. Anyway. Oh, I guess Bank of America is still in. Oh my gosh, Bank of America is still in it. Yeah, Bank of America is still in an uptrend. It looks terrible right now, but it's still in an uptrend. Look at the technical double top on Bank of America. I see Bank of America at $44 next week. I would say 43.65. Alrighty. All of my, make sure if you guys see my tweet on with my SPY analysis, give it a retweet if you don't mind. Let me know that you saw it. Leave a like. But I did post both of my SPY charts, bearish projections for the monthly and the weekly long term. So if you guys want to check those out and save them, that'd be great. So all right, you guys, I'm gonna go, and it does need some milk. Do I have a link anywhere to the trading view setup you're using, indicators and everything? I mean, I'd be happy to screenshot. I mean, you can always screenshot the indicators that I use, and then you can just look them up. But there's my indicators right there. But I'll figure out how to do that to get all my indicators consolidated. RDO, you guys have a good evening. I will catch you guys on Tuesday morning. I'll probably tweet out a couple things, maybe a couple charts Monday night. But otherwise, enjoy your holidays, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. So hang out with your families. Do some fun stuff outside away from some charts before you hop on towards the end of the day. And hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. But I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Peace.